Harvard covered up a secret plagiarism probe into President Claudine Gay during anti-Semitism storm.
Faking Gay.
Threatened the Post. So this is ongoing.
Yeah.
While this whole scandal, like before this stuff's going on, before Elise Stefanik questions her, apparently she was being investigated for plagiarism. We have this huge thread from Aaron Siberium, who says, Chris Rufo's examples are just the tip of the iceberg. In 4 articles published between 93 and 2017, including her dissertation, Gay paraphrased or quoted almost 20 authors without proper attribution, in some cases lifting entire paragraphs verbatim. He's got the evidence right here.
Her dissertation began, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
I mean, look. This is a massive scandal where we are learning that the president of Harvard plagiarized her way through her dissertation for over 20 years. They know this. They knew this. They covered it up. She then makes shockingly offensive statements, and they refuse to fire her. New York Post reports.
It's great to be a leftist.
Yeah, that's right. You can do nothing. You can do no wrong. Hunter Biden, look at that. Harvard University covered up a high-level investigation into whether its controversial president was a plagiarist and used an expensive law firm to threaten the Post over our own probe. The college announced Tuesday morning that it investigated Claudine Gay over whether some of her academic work was plagiarized and had cleared her of breaching the college's standards for research misconduct. I will say it again. The only qualification for the job is that you are a member of the cult. And then everything else is irrelevant. She's a good cult member. She serves the cult. Should we fire her? Of course not. She's doing her job.
Yeah. All that matters is pushing the ideology. All that matters is pushing leftist. And that's what I was trying to talk about with like the NAACP calling for the boycott of Florida.
The best state in America.
All these institutions, all they do is push leftist ideas. Yeah. And when they come into clash with reality, if reality is not their leftist agenda, then reality gets pushed aside.
But even if they fire her, they're just going to replace her with someone just as bad.
Yeah.
The same kind of cult member that's going to be giving out that woke Kool-Aid, the same kind of individual that's going to be along the same lines. So I don't understand why they won't fire her and just replace her with a worse person and then kind of appease the mob that's trying to
because she's good at what she does as a priest of wokeness.
The sad thing is that as we're having this conversation, there is still a lovely patriotic, quote unquote, patriotic, no, I won't even quote unquote, patriotic American family that is sitting there with their 17-year-old daughter and they are plotting to get her into Harvard.
They're waiting for that letter being ooh, fingers crossed.
And they're doing all the essays and they hear about this, but they're like, but we have to get our daughter Prescott, Bookcase, whatever her name is, we have to get her into Harvard or Yale or Princeton or wherever.
So this is it right now.
That has to stop.
Everyone needs to refuse to work with people who have degrees from Harvard, MIT, and UPenn until they back down and the institutions are recaptured and dewokified. I don't even think, Portnoy was like, until they fired these individuals, I'm like, you got to root out the corruption. You got to grab the weed and pull it out by the roots. And so my attitude is, you want to apply to a job here, just don't put it on your resume.
Yeah, and it has to get to the point that anyone over a certain age, maybe Harvard 20 years ago was different. Who knows? Maybe it was exactly the same. But at a certain age now, if you meet someone under 30 who is very proud and they brag that they went to Harvard, their response has to be just pure laughter. It's like when your friend's like, I'm a huge Browns fan. And you're like, you're a Browns fan? Like, no offense to Browns fans, of course, as a Giants fan. Right. But it has to get that gut reaction of just laughter. Like, oh, you went to Harvard? Oh my God, please.
What did you learn?
Give me a break.
How to point out the different races in the room?